The eerie tale shared comes from a netizen named Tia. The story involves Tian's friend, Dong, and his girlfriend, 9. Tia and Dong both love playing basketball and are part of a small group of about 10 people who often organize games together. They regularly meet every Tuesday at a sports center in Shuangjing, Beijing to play basketball. On weekends, they sometimes join amateur basketball tournaments together. There's also a guy in the group who works in investment banking. He's almost 40 years old and goes by the surname Su. Through frequent basketball games, they gradually got to know each other and became friends. Brother Su, despite his age, is an excellent player and a key member of the team. He's also very easygoing, humorous, and great at making conversations. When they're together, they often eat out and chat about all sorts of things besides playing basketball. How did Dong meet 9? It was around the first half of the year. One Tuesday, Dong, Tia, and their teammates were at the sports center in Shuangjing as usual. Normally, everyone would arrive by a little after 7. But this time it was almost 8 and several people, including brother Su, hadn't shown up yet. With only 9 people present, they couldn't play a full court, 5-on-5 game. So they had to split into 3 groups for half-court games. During the game, Dong called out to everyone saying, "I need to step out for a bit." Just now, brother Su called and said he got into a car accident. Someone got hurt and I'm going to check on him. The teammates stopped playing and asked, "How serious is it?" Dong replied, "It's not serious." From what brother Su said, it doesn't seem too bad. He rear-ended the car in front of him. The person in the back seat of the car in front got a bit of a bump on the head. They're all at Chaoyang Hospital now. I'll go and take a look. If everything's fine, I'll call you guys. Dong is a very righteous and warm-hearted person who, whenever someone needs help, he's always the first to step up. He left the sports center and drove off immediately. The remaining teammates decided not to continue playing. They said, "Let's just find a place to have dinner near the entrance and wait for his call. If there's anything we can do to help, we'll go together." They found a small restaurant near the entrance and had a quick meal. But by the time they finished eating, Dong still hadn't called. Tia called him and asked, "How is it going? Is brother Su seriously hurt?" Dong replied, "No, it's not serious. The person in the back seat got a slight bump on the head due to the impact. She's been checked and there's no major issue." Hearing that it wasn't serious, Tia and the teammates felt relieved. After hanging up, some of the guys went back to play half-court, while Tia went straight home. Later, during a basketball game and dinner with brother Su, he mentioned the car accident again. He seemed very relaxed and almost joked about it. Dong, he's really a righteous guy. No wonder so many girls like him. He's young, wealthy, and has a heart of gold. But speaking of that day, it was a bit eerie. I was heading to the sports center, and the 3rd ring road was pretty congested. I thought I'd avoid the main road and take a detour through the auxiliary road to our usual tea house. I planned to sit there for a bit, have some water and eat something to avoid the evening rush. Then, I'd head to the sports center later instead of getting stuck in traffic. But before I could make the turn, I don't know what happened. I suddenly felt extremely sleepy, and the sleepiness hit me so fast that my eyelids were getting heavy while I was driving. I kept shaking my head and telling myself not to fall asleep, because there was a car in front of me. But in a daze, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I think I only closed my eyes for a few seconds. But when I came to, there was a bang, and my airbag deployed, which woke me up. I got out of the car and saw that I had rear-ended to Texas. The trunk of the first taxi was pushed in, and the rear bumper of the second taxi was deformed. There were passengers in the first taxi, Fortunately, my car had a forward collision warning system that automatically braked, but it still didn't stop in time. Thankfully, the passengers weren't seriously injured. There were two young ladies in the car. One of them, who was taller, had a bump on her head and felt a bit dizzy. The other shorter one seemed fine and didn't say much. I quickly apologized to the taxi drivers and took responsibility for the accident. I told the two ladies that Chaoyang Hospital was nearby, and we should go there for a checkup. I said it was my responsibility to make sure they were okay, and to handle any issues that might arise later. The taxi drivers saw that I was cooperative and didn't get angry. The lady with the bump said she wanted to go to the hospital. I quickly explained the situation to the drivers, left my contact information, and took the two girls to the hospital. On the way, I called Dong and he arrived at the hospital pretty quickly. When he saw the two girls, his eyes widened. I have to say they were both quite attractive, especially the shorter one. She really looked like one of those internet beauty influencers. Then Dong told me, "Brother Su, you should go back to the scene and handle the accident." He took the girls for the checkup. I realized he was right. The taxi drivers were still waiting at the scene, so I hurried back. After I finished handling the situation there, I called him again. Dong told me that the checkup was done and there were no serious issues. The doctor had prescribed some medicine, and he had already paid the medical bills. He even joked that I should pay him back with interest someday. I could hear a girl's voice in the background. I asked where they were and he said they were at a dessert shop near the hospital. He told me not to worry about it, but I insisted on going to see for myself. However, when I got there, I saw him chatting and drinking milk tea with the tall girl in the shop. From the look on Dong's face, I could tell he was already in charm mood. But at that time, the shorter girl wasn't there. She must have left already. Knowing Dong as I do, the shorter girl was definitely his type, and he must have taken a liking to her at first sight. I thought he was probably trying to impress the tall girl with his words. But to my surprise, after a while he ended up with the tall one. I was really off the mark this time. Later, Dong brought his girlfriend, 9, to the sports center. Many of our basketball buddies met her. She was indeed quite tall, slim, and very pretty. After we finished playing, 9 joined us for dinner. At the table, Brother Su joked, "I guess I accidentally matched you together with that car accident. I should be considered a matchmaker, right?" In Qian's memory, 9 was very talkative, even though it was her first time dining with so many strangers. She wasn't shy at all. She introduced herself and mentioned that she worked at a dessert shop on Xiangyuan Road. She had her own store there selling bread, pastries, and ice cream. She also invited everyone to visit her shop. After dinner, Dong took 9 and said goodbye to everyone. But things started to get weird. Pia was puzzled and asked Dong, "What do you mean by weird?" Dong explained, "A while ago, 9 and I had a small argument. It was my fault. I got upset and we had a fight. You were on a business trip and not in Beijing at the time. So I went to have a drink with Brother Su. After a while, he mentioned that I had been with 9 for over half a year, which was much longer than my usual relationships that lasted only 2 or 3 months. He said he had misjudged me and thought I was interested in the shorter girl, the internet beauty. He was always curious why I seemed to have changed my taste." Tia didn't find anything strange in what Dong said, but Dong fell silent. Pia looked at Dong and asked, "What's wrong? What's so strange about it?" Dong took a deep breath, held the teacup in front of him for a while, and then slowly said, Of course, it's strange, because I had no idea what brother Sue was talking about. What is internet beauty and shirt girl? When I got to the hospital after the accident, it was only brother Sue and Nine there. Hearing this, Tia was confused and said, "What do you mean? Are you saying you've never met Nine's friend?" Dong nodded. Tia asked, "Did your breakup have something to do with her friend?" Dong shook his head again and said, "Not necessarily, but I'm really scared now." Tia was getting impatient and said, "What do you mean? I don't understand. Can you just say it clearly?" Dong looked very nervous and said, "When brother Sue suddenly said that to me, I felt strange. I had known Nine for quite a while, but I had never met her friend. Brother Sue mentioned some short internet beauty,